Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you right now is sending shockwaves and so many cries of alarm for the leftists through the Kamala Harris campaign. Don't forget Tim Walz is in there kicking somewhere too, because the whole Latino vote thing, MSNBC can't hide this anymore. What I'm about to show you is something that they actually aired, and in the comments field right down there, you tell me how scared they should be on the left with this data that's coming through. Now, I'm going to walk you through all of it right now. It'll be linked right down there in the description box, and of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on if you want to spread freedom from one coast to the other, border to border, and thank you in advance for that consideration. All right, people, so one of the things that I always put as a disclaimer on these things is make sure that you vote. Everything I show you is so that you are aware of what's going on, the truth behind the propaganda, but it's not intended to make you not vote or do anything other than vote, get your friends to vote, family to vote. In fact, I've partnered with USCCA, their Action Fund. They've put together an entire system that allows you to check your registration and do all the things that you need to do to make sure you are ready to take part in your civic action and send some people in like mind to Washington, D.C. So make sure you check this out. There's a link in the description box below. And let's get it. VoteWithBraden.com. Let's hit it. We are heading into the most crucial election of our lifetimes, and millions of the people who share our values aren't even registered to vote. Think about that. My name is Braden Langley with Langley Outdoors on YouTube, and I'm partnering with the USCCA Action Fund to make sure that we do everything that we can to put the right people in the right place at the right time to pass our blessings on to the next generation. I am challenging each one of you to stand up for our God-given rights. If only half of us on this channel activate, that is 275,000 people that are active, passing on our rights and taking that civic duty to do so. Imagine how powerful that could be, and all you have to do is go to votewithbraden.com. So here's what you need to do. Go to votewithbraden.com. This is the one-stop shop. All you have to do is go there. You can get your registration up to date or check to make sure you are registered. You can get your polling location. You can even get a ballot if you desire. It has never been simpler, and it takes less than 60 seconds. Again, votewithbraden.com. All right, people, listen. We're going to dive right into this because it's Monday morning, and you guys deserve nothing less than the best that I have to offer. All right, let's get it. So, setting this up. Democrats' advantage with Latino voters continues to shrink. Now, this is something that they're trying to play down and be like, it's shrinking a little bit. Wait until I show you this. Because this is incredibly important. This, as you can see, this is from MSNBC. This is crazy. Oh, let's get it. All right, let me turn the volume all the way up. Make sure you guys can hear Steve. Let's get it. This is from yesterday.
Latino voters. Steve, break down these numbers for us.
Yeah, Kristen, some interesting stuff here. Again, we see every 4 years the Latino vote becomes a bigger and bigger share of the overall electorate. Well, among Latinos, our poll shows Kamala Harris leading Donald Trump 54 to 40%. Now, for some context.
All right, now this is the crucially important piece you have to understand. For context, they will lead with this and say, oh, excuse me, this is NBC. They will lead with this and they will say, oh, look, she's winning. Propagandists on Twitter, on X, they'll say, oh, look, she's winning. Context is what's so crucial. That's why all of our videos, we've covered the election. It's always in context. Yeah, let's continue. Context is where it sells everything.
This is a little bit better for Democrats than they were doing among Hispanics when Joe Biden was their candidate. But I think the bigger story here is historically, 54 to 40 now is a 14-point advantage for the Democrats. Take a look back at the last three presidential elections, and these were the results in the exit polls among Hispanic voters. That 14, look at that cut there, almost 20 points less than just 4 years ago. And 4 years ago, we were saying Donald Trump had made inroads with Hispanic voters. This suggests that that has continued apace. So what?
All right, before he moves to the next one, I wanted to hit this. This was one of the most important things. This is one of the two key points you have to know going into this, okay? We're in October now. Well, 1 day short of October. We're in the final sprint. What they will tell you is that minorities hate anything to do with your rights, supporting your rights, the MAGA movement, conservatism, anything and everything. They only love Democrat policies, leftist policies, socialism light policies, and in some cases, socialism full throttle policies. Does that show that reality? In 2012, that is 12 years ago, we've gone from a plus 44 advantage with one of the fastest growing voting blocks in the United States down to 14. That is a 30-point loss in little over a decade. Now, to put this in context of what we're talking about on this channel, Second Amendment rights for every single American. Doesn't matter if you're brown, black, white, purple, pink, I don't care. You have these rights. Well, everything's showing right there. That group of people, that monolith, is moving towards the piece of gun rights, of secure borders, of inflation reduction, of all sorts of little pieces, like immigration too. All right, guys, this is a really big deal because as you're looking at this from a gun rights person, you have inroads here that are being laid out right in front of you, and I really hope we don't miss it. I'm not missing it. I hope we aren't missing it as an industry. Let's continue.
Is driving this shift? Well, we see a few big gaps here. A gender gap. Familiar with this one, certainly. Men tied when it comes to this race. Women, a 26-point advantage. Again, among Hispanic voters here, there's a gender gap, as we see with polls of overall voters. Also, age, a big factor here. Look at this. Voters over 50, Hispanic voters over 50, almost a 60-point advantage for Harris, and she's barely leading with Hispanic voters under 50. In fact, among men under 50, Donald Trump actually leads in our poll by 9 points. 9-point advantage there. Men under 50 for Trump. We also see in education.
Okay, I don't care about the education thing yet. Do you understand what he just told you? On a long term, don't look at this in this one election. I'm not talking about Trump versus Harris in this segment. Think about this in the long term. Over 57 or over 55 are all going for Harris at a very large margin. Under 50, which is their key demographic voting block to take your gun rights away, they're only +5, and among men, they're actually -4. Guys, we are looking at a political realignment. This is the time to push the throttle all the way forward because we have inroads that we can make right now to solve the problem for the next generation that the gun controllers have put on us. Guys, this is big. This is a really big deal. Let's continue, though. I don't really care as much about the education piece, but let him go.
Divide. Again, we talk about this a lot when we're talking about the overall pool of voters, too. Men without 4-year degrees, that's now a double-digit Trump constituency in our poll. Men with degrees.
That's blue-collar workers, by the way.
Here, bigger margins among women, but we are seeing a bit of that education gap, and we are seeing a religion gap here. Among Catholic Hispanics, 20 points for Harris. Protestant Hispanics, 26 points for Donald Trump. Talking a little bit about the issues, what's the most important issue?
Right here.
We asked in this poll, abortion clocking in there, and Kamala Harris, big advantage. We see that being competent and effective. Kamala Harris leading there as well. But then the biggies, these are the ones that Hispanic voters are saying are the most important to them. Economy, small advantage, Trump. Inflation, 9-point advantage. And how about that? On the border and on immigration, Donald Trump with a double-digit advantage, 13 points in our poll. When asked who would be better on this issue, Hispanic voters are saying it's Donald Trump. And that.
All right. Guys, do you understand what's happening? All Kamala Harris has in this entire monolith, one of the fastest growing in the United States, is abortion and potentially perceived as competent and effective. The number 1, 2, and 3 things that are most important to the population in the voting election: economy, inflation, border immigration. Those 3 things. Trump has an advantage in the entire group. All right, guys, this is not just Trump. It's also policy party-wide. Let's continue real quick. He's got a few more things to show you, and then we'll bounce. We got a lot of stuff to cover today.
It's part of a broader shift here on basic attitudes among Hispanic voters toward immigration. Look, when Donald Trump first ran in 2016, 69% of Hispanics said immigration helps the country more than it hurts. That's come down to 62, and the number who say it hurts more than it helps, all the way up to 35%. There's something bigger and broader going on here, and I think you can see it finally with this. We ask a basic question of Hispanic voters.
Big payoff right here.
Do you more identify with? 37% now say Republicans, 49% say Democrats, but again, look at how this has shifted in just the last dozen years. In 2012, this was a 41-point advantage for the Democrats. It has come all the way down to 12 points, Kristen, a 29-point.
Okay, I don't need to hear him say this part. This is how we're wrapping this up. Keep in mind what I showed you in the earlier portion of this. From 2012 all the way to 2024, in a 12-year span, they've lost 30 points of support amongst Hispanics. Okay, that's a key support area of the Democratic Party. Now, party affiliation. You've gone from a 41-point advantage to a 12-point advantage, which is another 30 points, really 29, but it's a 30-point reduction. This is politics broad, guys. This is not just, ooh, they like Trump, ooh, they don't. This is a 12-year span before Trump was even involved, and then Trump years from 2016 till now. Guys, you are looking at a realignment. The gun rights piece of this has a tremendous advantage to go forward. If we miss the opportunity on this, shame on us, because it is moving in our direction and we have every opportunity to take it. And that's what I want to share with you guys. Everything will be linked. Let me know what you think in the comments field. Did I land this plane? And I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.